So welcome everyone. This is Matplotlib lecture number 1 and I'm Aayush Porwal, and as you know I'm a core team member of Team Technoid, and I welcome you all and I hope you guys are doing well. So without further ado, let's get started. So the today's topic is Matplotlib. So the first question that comes to one's mind is, what is Matplot? So these are the definitions of Matplot. I'm sure I'm gonna dictate it, but in layman terms, if someone asks you what Matplotlib is, your answer should be very precise, that we use Matplotlib to visualize the data. That's it. It is used for data visualization. What I meant by saying data visualization is we are graphically representing the data. That's it. Okay. So now we'll look into each of them in detail, like the definition of it. So Matplotlib is a compressive library for creating static, animated, and interactive visualizations in Python. Matplotlib produces publication qualities figures in a variety of hard copy format and interactive environment across platforms. Matplotlib can be used in Python scripts, the Python and IPython shell, web application servers, and various graphical user interface toolkit. Okay. Now, before checking the version, as you can see, we have to import Matplotlib. So we have to write a command, that is import Matplotlib, and I'll what I'll do is I'll wait for you guys to type this along with me. I'm actually not gonna type because I think it'll take more and more time. What you guys can do is, since it will be available, so you just pause the video, write the code, and check the output by yourself. Okay, what I'll give you some time, like after each of these cells I'll stop for a minute or two, for a second or two. In that particular time you can pause the video and write the code. Okay. So before checking the version, as I've told you, we have to import the Matplotlib, and it is already available in this particular environment, that is Jupyter. Okay, Jupyter notebook, it is available. Now, I guess you all have written this particular code and I'm gonna run it. So here I can see that my Matplotlib version is 3.3.4. Okay, now coming on to Matplotlib PyPlot. So what PyPlot is, basically most of the Matplotlib utilities lies under PyPlot. Okay, what PyPlot it is a sub module of Matplotlib. Okay, so we import basically PyPlot as PLT. So we have to write a command, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And similarly, we are importing NumPy as NP. I guess all of you know what library is NumPy and what all the things about NumPy. So it is one of the prerequisite. You should have know all these things that I've taught to you guys previously before jumping to this particular lecture. Okay, so if time permits, I'll teach you guys what Seaborn is, and otherwise I'll put a separate lecture on it in YouTube, and you can watch it at your convenience. Okay. Now, the next heading is Matplotlib plotting. So I'm gonna run it first. Okay, I hope you have followed till here. So basically we are importing my matplotlib.pyplot. We have to write this particular command as in when we are using Matplotlib. Okay, and we are importing NumPy, as you know that. Yeah. So now we have to plot the points here. The heading is Matplotlib plotting. So what we have to do here is we have to draw a line in a particular diagram from position 0, 0, that is x1 y1, to a position x2 y2, that is 5, 100. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to use a function, a plot function, and what it does is it actually used to draw points in a diagram. Okay, as simple as that. And by default the plot function draws a line from point to point. Okay, so you can understand it better. So what we are doing when I run this particular code, so what I'm doing here is I'm making an array having points x1 x2. So like I'm passing 0 here and 5 here in x point, and in y point I'm passing the y coordinates like y1 and y2. Okay, and now I'm plotting the graph, and this is particular thing we have to write in order to plot the graph. And plt.show, what it does is it's a same thing, but you have to write it is kind of look neat. I can say that, like, it'll work if I don't write anything like that, but in order to avoid these particular things, you can write plt dot show. Okay, and you shift enter, and these particular things will remove. So basically, in order to look what actually our data is looking, we have to write this particular command plt.show, and in order to plot, we have to write this particular command plt.plot, and we have to pass the parameters. By parameters, I mean to say, we have to pass the x coordinate as well as the y coordinate. So we are able to successfully make a line from 0 comma 0 0 to 5 100. I guess till here you guys are following me. Now coming to, if so, here I have mentioned a point that by default the plot function draws a line from point to point. Okay, so what if uh, we don't need a line? What we have to do? So plotting without line, so we can use a particular notation. We can write this particular thing, that is O in single quotes, and we can pass it as a parameter. So what it does is, I'm gonna run it. It basically mark the endpoints here in the form of rings. Okay, till here I guess it's clear, and I'm gonna wait for 2-3 seconds, and so that you guys can write the code. Okay, pause the video according to your convenience. Okay, now what we are trying to do here is we are plotting multiple points. Okay, so what we are doing is we are passing the x coordinates of the points here in xpt, and we are passing the y coordinates of the point here. Okay, and we are trying to draw a line. Okay, because by default we draw a line from point to point. So let's run this particular code, and now we can see that at -1 comma -2, so here it is -1, the x coordinate, -2, so we get the point. We can change the values as well, like instead of minus, we can change the values, we can write and do whatever we want. Okay, I'm gonna run it again, and we'll get a new line. Okay, so you can play with changing the inputs, and you'll get a different type of graphs. So I can say one thing, that you need to practice. The more you practice with these particular things, the more in-depth knowledge you'll get. Okay, so there is a note here that if we do not specify the points in x-axis, so let's say we skip this particular thing, so they will get the default values as 0 1 2 3 depending on the length of 5 points. Okay, so let's see, let's run this particular code. Here I'm not passing the x points here. From this we are not passing the x point, we are only passing the y coordinates. Okay, now we can see that it is automatically getting the values 0 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, depending on the line. So I think till here it is clear to you guys. Okay, by default it is adding. So just quickly type this particular code, and okay, I guess you have written this particular code. Now what we are doing is, here is similarly we are checking for different values, same thing, nothing else. So we are getting 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, it's nothing, we are just passing another ypt, that's it. We are making different kind of coordinates here, and we are plotting it with respect to default x coordinates, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, what you guys have to make sure when you're passing x points and y points, these should be equal. The length of that particular array, this array and this array must be equal. You have to keep these things in mind. Okay, now coming on to the markers, so here we can see that we are using ring markers here. Basically what marker is donating here is the endpoints. Okay, in this particular case, if we want markers in these points, the points that we have mentioned, okay, what we have to do is we have to use markers. So using the keyword argument marker to emphasize each point with a specified marker. Okay, so here is the list of things we can do. If we write 0, oh sorry, we'll get a circle marker here. Okay, what happened? 5. Oh, sorry, I have to change it. Yeah, so here we can see that in each particular points, that is 2, 6, 3, like this, we're getting circle here. So if you want square, we have to write S. I'm gonna run it, and here we are getting squares. Okay, so you can try a number of things here. We have diamond, we can, let's see, diamond, thin diamond, small d. Okay, so we're getting thin diamonds. Okay, here, so you can try various markers here depending on your need, and I'm not gonna waste much time. Let's take another example. Okay, shall we? Okay, I'm doing error again and again because I forgot to change this particular thing. Okay, so I'm so sorry for this inconvenience. I'll make sure I'll change it. Okay, so here what we are is we are getting a line here. Yeah, so as of now we have seen that we can draw v line by v line I mean vertical line, and for underscore we can see that we'll get a horizontal line. Okay, so yeah, coming to format string fmt, so you can use a shortcut string notation parameter to specify the marker. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to pass marker line and color. So here we can see that we are passing vpt ypt, sorry, and we are specifying the marker, what type of marker we are using. We are using a square marker. We can see that S stands for square. We are passing what type of line we like we want to get. Okay, so here there are several lines. If I place a single dash, it means a solid line. If I place a colon, it means a dotted line. Double dash means dashed line, and dash dot means dash slash dotted line. Okay, so here I want to get dashed slash dotted lines. Let's run it. So we can see that we are getting a line, dash dotted lines. So here it is a dash and dot, and followed by markers, square markers. Okay, so I think till here it is clear to you guys. Now specifying the marker size. So in order to specify a marker size, we have to use a keyword called ms, or we can use marker size as well. Okay, so yeah, so I think till here it is clear. You have to specify if you are using a marker, which type of marker you are using. You are using a square type of a marker, and we are specifying the size of a marker here, that is ms is equals to 25. Okay, so let's run it, and I have to change this particular thing to ypt. Let's run it. Okay, so we are getting a square here, and the size of this particular square is 25 units. Let's change it to 5, I guess. Yeah, so you can see what it is doing. Okay, yeah, you can also write marker size here. Marker size, both will do fine. Okay, now in order to change the color of the marker, so using the keyword marker edge color, or the shorter version of it is MEC, what we can do is we are able to set the color of the edges of the marker. Okay, so let's say I want a marker whose edge is red and inside it is indigo. So uh, inside edge means the face of the marker. So we can define the we can we can choose a color that is indigo as a marker face. Okay, so you'll understand it when I run the code. So if I run it, what I'm doing here is I'm passing by point. Okay, I'm passing this particular p. What p stands for, let's quickly look. P stands for pentagon. Okay, small p stands for pentagon. We want dash dotted lines, and we are passing r, and r signifies, let's look into fmt, r signifies the color. Okay, so the color that we are using here is what color we are using here? We are using red color. Okay, now let's take a look here. Okay, this is marker edge color and it is red, and it is marker face color, it is indigo. Okay, let's run this particular code. So we can see that we are able to get a line, a red line. Okay, so from here we are able to get a red line. Okay, P is the marker pentagon shape. Okay, let's change this particular thing to, let's say, G, green. Okay, now we can see that the line becomes green, the marker edge is red, and the marker face is indigo. So you can pass anything, like if I want to pass hot pink. Okay, so you can see that it becomes, the marker face becomes hot pink. Okay, so you can use various hexadecimal numbers as well. So here what I'm doing is I'm passing ypt, I'm passing xpt here. So remember this is particular y coordinate only. I'm just passing this particular thing here. The last time that I've, yeah, this particular thing here. Okay, so it is considered as y coordinates only. Okay, x is by default 0 1 2 3. Okay, keep this thing in mind. X is default 0 1 2 3. So here the marker is, we are using a ring here or a circle, and here we are using square. We are trying to plot multiple lines here. We are passing the size of the markers, we are passing the edge color of the markers, we are passing the face color of the markers here, different colors. Okay, hexadecimal, just give any values. Okay, any 6-digit values, uh, hexadecimal values, and you're good to go. Let's change it and let's run it. So we can see that we are getting a nice lines here. Okay, so you can see that these are the lines we are getting. We are getting the marker edge as indigo here, and some kind of lime yellow. I don't know what kind of color it is. Okay, so yeah, you can go through all these particular things. I've posted links from where you can get the decimal values of each individual colors and all that. Okay, now coming to the Matplotlib lines. Okay, so the first thing is line style. Okay, so we have already discussed it previously that there are several types of lines, that is solid line, dash dotted lines, each of these things. Okay, and there is something called as none line, that we are not doing anything, none. Okay, so we have to use or. Okay, these all are single quotes, so you have to write or in single quotes, and you have to pass this particular thing again in single quotes. Okay, then that way it will work. So it is something like this, nothing. Okay, now let's pass Alice as dash, shall we? Okay, so we can see that we are getting solid lines here. Okay, we have already uh, come across this particular thing here somewhere. Okay, somewhere here, I don't know. Yeah, here. Okay, in FMTs we are passing line here. Here line is itself line style. Okay, what type of line we want. Coming to the line color, again we have seen this particular thing in FMT, but there is another way to do it. Okay, first I'll change this particular thing to YPT. Now, line color, using the keyword argument color or the shorter C to set the color of the line. Okay, so I don't know what color it is, but let's change it to something. Okay, and let's, okay, it's kind of a purple line here that we are getting. So you can type color or you can type C, and you just have to run it and you'll get the line here. Okay, this is particular line color. Now, in order to set the width, you have to write a keyword line width, or you can write it LW for short. Okay, so it will define the width of the line. Okay, so here we are doing something like, yeah, the value is a floating number. So whatever we are passing here is, be it 20, it will convert it to float, or we can pass floating values as well here. Okay, so we can see that we are getting a thick line, purple line, thick purple line here. Okay, so I've made an error. Let's see. Yeah, now it's fine. Okay, so I've defined it earlier. Let's run it, and yeah, I guess now we are good to go. Okay, Yeah, sorry for these particular errors. I'll correct this particular thing and I'll pass it to you. Okay, so you can see that we are getting same lines here, a thin one, a thick one. Okay, I hope till here you guys are following me, and if you guys have any doubts, there will be a doubt clearing session and you can post your doubts there, and I'll clear your doubts definitely, or you can just put it in the comment section here if at all you guys have any doubts, or put it in the group. Okay, I'll clarify it instantly. Okay, so now these all are the things we are doing with lines. Let's coming on to the labels here. Okay, labels for the plot. What we are doing here is we are importing the libraries, we are passing x coordinates, we are passing the y coordinates, we are plotting it. Till here it is clear, I guess. Now we use x label and we use y label. Okay, so whatever, we have to write a command plt.x label and we are passing, let's say, x-axis, okay, as a label, and we have to write plt.y label and we are naming that particular label as y-axis. Okay, we'll run it. Now you can see that this particular thing comes here and this particular thing comes here. Okay, as simple as that, and we are able to successfully able to plot this particular thing, like 8 comma 240 is our first, then 12 comma 250. Okay, similarly we are successfully able to plot the. Okay, now let's do something funky here. Let's set the marker as O. Okay, so we can see these lines, these are the points in the line. Okay, let's do certain things with fmt. So what we have to do is we have to write certain things. I want square marker, I want dash dotted lines, or let's say dashed lines, and I want the color of the line to be green. Okay, let's see, let's run it. Okay, so you can do a number of things here. Okay, play with these particular things. fmt, you can use various of the things, like let's change the length width to 20. Okay, 20, it's let's change it to 15. Yeah, 15. Okay, see, so just play with it. I am not sure whether you guys are able to see these are the squares. Okay, so just keep this. Okay, so let's change the square colors. Okay, I'm playing with this particular matplotlib library. Okay, so bear with my playing. Let's pass it B for blue, I guess. Okay, so here you can see, and let's make the face as yellow. Okay, so now you can see that it is one hell of a ugly line here, and the markers here are in square, and face color of the markers are yellow, and the edge of the marker is blue. Okay, so I hope till here you guys have followed me, right? Now, in order to create title for a plot, okay, so what we have to do is, with pyplot you can use title function. We are using title function to set the title. Okay, so now what you have to do is we have to write plt dot title, and we are passing the title name x/y, or let's say x-axis comma slash, yeah, versus y-axis, and uh, let's not pass anything here, and let's see. Okay, so I'm getting nothing here because I'm not passing anything. Let's pass some certain things here. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste these particular things. Let's copy it, let's paste it. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so I did certain. Okay, now it's fine. So here it is y-axis, y label, that is x-axis, x label, and this is the title. So by default it comes to center. Now if I write LOC just to change the location of it, right left. Okay, so this particular thing comes to the left, So we can write right, or by default it is center. I've already told you. Okay, so you can set the position of the title name. Okay, I guess till here you guys are following me. If you guys have any doubt, I'm saying it again and again. You can put in the comment section, you can put it in the WhatsApp group, or you can message me directly. My name is Ayush, as you know that. Okay, now coming to Matplot adding grid lines. Okay, so I hope you guys know what grid is. Okay, so with PyPlot you can use grid function to add grid lines to the plot. Okay, so I'm importing numpy here. I'm importing matplotlib.pyplot as plt. I'm passing the x coordinates, I'm passing the y coordinates. I'm trying to plot the curve, plot the graph, and what I have to do is I have to write plt.plot x comma y. I'm passing x label name as x-axis. I'm passing y label name as y-axis. And let's not do anything here. Let's write plt.grid, and I'm gonna run this particular code and let's see what we are getting. So we are getting a grid here. Okay, as you can see. Yeah, so we have seen the grid now. Now, if at all we want a line that is parallel to x-axis, so what we have to write is we have to write here axis is equals to y. Remember that if you want a line parallel to y-axis, we have to write here x. So let's run it quickly and let's see. So we are getting grid lines here that is parallel to x-axis. Okay, so if at all we want a line that is parallel to y-axis, we have to just pass the parameter axis is equals to x, and we'll get a line that is parallel to y-axis. Okay, so this is all about grid lines, and I'm just going to dictate here is you can use the axis parameters in the grid function to specify which grid lines to display. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now coming on to the properties of grid, so like we have done in plot functions, we can set the colors, we can set the line style, we can set the line width. Similarly, in the same fashion, we can do it in grid section. Okay, so let's quickly look what we are doing here. I'm just copy and pasted all the stuffs here. Uh, uh, all the things are same. Okay, I've plotted the x and y curve. I've named it as well, all the x label and y label, and now I'm playing with grid here. So what I'm doing is I want axis is equals to x means I want grid lines parallel to y-axis. Always remember that. Okay, now I want a color. I can mention C or I can mention color. Let's write color, and let's write ls is equals to we want a dotted lines, or in case let's see a dotted line here, and ls stand for line style, and line width is okay. Let's quickly run this particular code. So you can see that I'm getting a dotted lines here of color green, and whose width is 0.5. Okay, I can increase the width if, yeah. So I'm gonna run it. So you can see I'm getting grid lines, a thick grid lines. Okay, and the lines are of dotted nature. Now come, I hope it is clear. Now let's quickly look into Matplotlib subplots. So today as I've already mentioned, I'm covering the basics, and if the time permits, for the tomorrow's session, I'll teach you guys a little bit about Seaborn, and uh, and a little bit extra functions about Matplotlib. So all the basic stuff that you need uh, to like to hold on to Matplot, I'll be teaching you in this particular class. Okay, now coming to the Matplotlib subplot. So what we do is we basically, there are functions, subplot function, uh, and it actually gives you the power to draw multiple plots in a graph, in a figure. Okay, so the subplot function takes 3 arguments that describes the layout of the figure. The layout is organized in rows and columns, which is represented by the first and the second argument. Okay, and the third argument represent the index of the current plot. So in what particular place we want that particular plot to be in the figure. Okay, so the figure has I rows. From this particular example, the figure has I rows, j columns, and we want to plot in the first plot. Okay, so let's see. what we are doing here is we are importing first of all a matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay, and we are importing numpy. We all know that. We are, for the first plot, we are passing these particular parameters, and in the subplot we have rows, that is two rows. We have two rows, one column, and in these two rows I want the first position. Okay, and I'm plotting it. Similarly, I've passed another parameters here for the second plot, and I'm passing same two rows, one column, and in the second row and the first column I want this particular plot to lie. So let's just plt.show to, yeah, to get the output. So I can see that we have two rows here and a single column, and in the first position I have the first plot, and in the second position I have the second plot. Now let's play with it. Let's change it to 1, and let's change it to 3. Let's change it to 1. Okay, 1, 3, and 2. So I have actually chose 3 columns, but we have only 2 plots here. What I can do is Control C, Control V, plot number 3. Let's give them points like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Gonna specify. So I'm getting a straight line here. Okay. So I hope this particular thing is clear to you guys. We can also name them. Okay, individual subplots, we can name their X labels, their Y labels, their titles, and we can also provide an overall title of this particular figure. So in order to do that, we have to use super title. There is something called a super title. You can add title to the entire figure with the subtitle function. Okay. So now similarly I'm importing it. I'm importing Matplotlib here. I'm importing pyplot here. Okay, this is the first plot. Okay, this is the first plot, and I'm naming them. Let's give label name also, X label. Let's see number of subject number. Subject number. Okay, dot file label, marks obtained. Okay, I'm gonna copy paste it now, and copy, and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, I hope it's clear now. So what we are doing is we are making a subplot here, and in that particular subplot I'm providing X label as subject number, Y label as marks obtained, and the title of that particular subplot as third semester. Okay, similarly subject number, marks obtained, and fourth semester, and this particular function that we are looking for will provide an overall title for of this particular figure. Okay, so what we have to write is we have to write subtitle, that is super title. Okay, I'm gonna run it now. So you can see that I'm getting marks obtained, subject number, marks obtained, subject number, all these things. It is little bit I know colliding with each other, these figures, but no worries. Okay, now this point is very critical, that is matplotlib scatter. So this is actually quite interesting, as well as a topic that you must understand. Okay, so what we do is we are basically trying to create scatter plots. By scatter plots I mean to say that we just want some of the points in that particular figure. Okay, so by pyplot you can use the scatter function to draw a scatter plot as it, and the scatter function plots one dot for each observation. Okay, so at 15,19 here you can see that 15,19, let's go to 15 and let's go to 19. So here at individual locations we are plotting a dot. Okay, no ring, no marker. It is not a marker, it's basically a dot. Okay, and we have to keep one thing in mind in all the scenarios, that it needs two array of the same length, one of for the values of x-axis and one for the value of y-axis. So similarly, we are importing matplot, pyplot, and numpy. There is actually no need to import these particular things again and again, but I'm just doing it for the sake of simplicity. Okay, so you guys can watch it and understand each every subsection or subheading of individual content. Okay, now this is x and y. I'm passing the values here, and I'm passing the values here, and I want a scatter here. Okay, so let's run it. I'm getting scatter here. Okay, now as simple as that. All we have to do is we have to write the keyword scatter and a function scatter. I'm so sorry, and we are passing the organ. As simple as that. So we have till now we have looked at plt.plot, and we have to pass x and y values. Okay, we have seen grid, plt.grid. Similarly, uh, I think these are the two things. Okay, keep in mind we have subplots also and all other things. Okay, so we can do multiple things over here. Just keep this thing in mind. Okay, now we want to compare scatter plots. So what we are trying to do is we are plotting multiple scatter plots. Okay, so in this first I'm creating a scatter plot for this particular coordinates x and y, and I'm creating another plot, scatter plot, for these particular coordinates, and I want to see how my scatter is looking. So by default it will change the color. Okay, there is no worry for it. All you have to do is show. Okay, so as you can see that orange color is the second one and the blue one is the first one. Okay, I hope it is clear to you guys. Now let's write plt.plot. Okay, I'm not gonna confuse you here. Okay, now you can also provide individual colors to these particular coordinates, like 15,19 we want to provide certain colors, coordinate 17,46 we have to provide certain colors. All you have to keep in mind is the size should be same. Okay, the it should be of same length. The colors that you are providing, it must be same. So we have, I guess, 3 3 6 9 9 13. Length of this particular array is 13, so you have to provide 13 individual colors if you want to see that particular thing colorful. So what I'm doing is I'm creating an array through numpy, and I'm pasting it to, I'm just copying it to colors, and I'm giving this particular c is equals to colors, so it will take input one by one for the respective coordinates. Okay, let's see how it looks. So you can see that we are getting individual colors. Let's see 15,29. 15 is here, 29 is somewhere, and we are giving red. So it's working fine. Okay, I hope it is clear to you guys, this particular thing. It is not a big deal. Okay, Matplotlib is very easy. All you have to do is you have to remember these functions. What is grid, what is subplots, and all that. Okay, what it will do. And once you I think once you complete your assignments, and you'll get a strong hold with respect to Matplotlib. So there's no need to worry, it's very easy. Okay, now coming to the color map. Now the Matplotlib module has number of available color maps. A color map is a list of colors where each color has a value that ranges from 0 to 100. You can see an example here. It is a color map that is called Virdish, and it ranges from 0 to 100, where 0 denotes the purple color and the 100 denotes the yellow color. So it actually shows the transition. So specifying the color maps, the keyword argument CMap, we use a keyword CMap to specify a color map. Okay, so basically what we have to do is we have to choose a CMap, and there is a bunch of CMap available in this particular built-in CMaps available in Matplot library. So we have greens, grays, oranges, purple, purred, each and everything, you name it and you'll get a color map of it, binary, all of that. Okay, and these are all the color maps, how they look actually. So let's take a look at winter. Winter shows first I guess blue, and then it converts to a little bit of light green and all that. So you can see depending on the range. So if we are providing 0, we'll get a yellow, and we'll get yellowish green, sort of like that here in the 100 position, or the 100 if the value is 100. Now let's take a look. I've copied all the same thing, as I've copied all the same things. Okay. Now what I have to do is I have to mention the color number to each of these particular coordinates. So what I'll do is I'll type color is equals to, I'm gonna create an array. Okay, and I'm gonna pass values, like there are total 13, I guess, 3 oh yeah, 13. So I have to pass 13 values. Let's say 12. So we have to pass the values from range from 0 to 100, so that the CMap will denote each of the coordinates, each of these values, that is 15, 29, with a color that we want from the CMap. Okay, I hope you are getting it. So why not, let's copy the same. Okay, we'll not waste any time here. We'll just copy the things and we'll make a little bit of changes here. Like we'll make 29 as 2, we'll make 38 as 0, we'll make 81 as 100, and so on. Let's keep it same. Okay, make it 50. Okay, I hope now we'll run it. Oh yeah, I have to add here that C is equals to color. Okay, so now it will take the CMap, as we have already discussed that it ranges from 0 to 100. So individual coordinates will take one by one. Let's take an example like 15, 29. We are giving it the value 9, so it will be of blue nature. Okay, and we are collecting the CMap color from uh, the built-in function, built-in CMap winter. Okay, we can use Virdish as well. Let's see, this is Virdish. So anything that is near to 0 is showing us purple, and it is showing us the transition as well. So I guess it is 100. We can see that it is 100. So 2181 is showing 100, and 100 is yellow. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Let's take some more examples from these things only. Let's take a look at flag. Okay, flag. Let's take a look at flag. So flag shows this kind of color. Let's see. Flag, I'll write flag. Yeah, so we can see that it's showing some some colors. Yeah, I don't know, in this particular manner. Okay, I hope you understood this till now, everything what I have said till now. Okay, now let's, if at all we have to change the size of our scatter, okay, the dot, we can use the function called as size. And if we have to deal with the transparency of that dot, we have to use an argument, alpha argument. So you can combine a color map with different sizes of dots, and it is kind of interesting. What we are trying to do here is we are actually changing the size of these dots, the transparency of these dots. And I've written a code here, a nice code, and let's see how it runs. So I hope you know what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm generating random numbers, random 100 numbers whose size is 100. Okay, I hope from 0 to 100 I'm generating numbers, 100 numbers. Okay, it's as simple as that. What I'm doing here, I'm generating 100 numbers in the range from 0 to 100. That's it. Here and here. Okay, and the number that I have generated, I'm multiplying it to 100 to make its size bigger, or whatever the number that will generate, it will multiply it by 100, multiply it by 10. Okay, now we are using color bar here. Color bar is as, let's not write color bar. Okay, let's just print it. So you can see that it is looking very nice here. Let's change the colors. Let's change the colors to flag. Okay, yeah, so it is kind of looking very neat and tidy here, huh? And yeah, so if you want to know the levels, you can see from here, like if you are inputting a value that is near to 0, this particular color it will show. Let's do it with Verdish so that we can observe it nicely. So it actually indicates the level. So 0 level indicates the purple color and the 100 level indicates the uh, yellow color. So for this we'll use a function that is color bar. So it will show the color, shows the actually level of our C map. Okay, so in this case we are using British, so it is showing like this. If I use winter, so we have seen winter from blue to green, I guess, है so yeah, it is blue to green, and yeah, that's it. That's, I hope you understand these commands, okay? Because you guys already covered NumPy, so it is actually not hard for you to understand, okay? There's nothing. We are just generating random integers from 0 to 100, and we are generating 100 numbers. That's it, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm passing C is equals to color. I'm passing the size of individual scatter dots, and I'm also passing the transparency. So transparency here is 0.5. Okay, you can change it to 1, you can change it to whatever number you like. Okay, so 5 is very dark. Okay, it's 0.01. It's very light. I hope you are able to see. Okay, so you can play with it and you'll like it. Okay, now coming to the Matplotlib bars, you all must have studied bars in your primary schools and all that. Okay, so bar is the same thing, and the bar function takes argument that describes the layout of the bar. So the category and their values represented by the first and the second arguments as array. Okay, so what we are doing is we are passing the arrays, and similarly we have seen if we write here plot, if we write here grid, we can do n number of things inside it. So we can pass the colors, width, each and everything. Okay. So there are two types of bar here. One is horizontal bar and one is vertical bar. So we use different type of commands in each case. So in this particular case, I want a bar having color red. So we are actually displaying apple and it shows the value 400, and we are using bananas and it shows the value 350. Okay, now if at all I write H here, so it will shows or display the horizontal bars. Okay, okay, so we can see that banana is 35, so it will basically tilt that particular image. That's it. Okay, so we can change their width as well as height. So uh, if we are using horizontal bars, we have to change its height, and if we are using vertical bars, we have to change the width of it. So depending on that, bar used for bar width and bar h used for bar height. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. So we can do a number of things. We are passing hexadecimal values here. You know that we can pass anything here, and we are also changing the size. See, we are using bar edge, so will get horizontal bars, so we have to change its height. Width here is not possible, so I'll write width. If at all I write width, it will not do anything, it will show an error. Okay, if I write here bar, then it's fine. Okay, I hope you are getting me. So if I have to write bar edge, I have to write here height. Okay, okay, so you can change it to 1 or 9, whatever you like. Okay, let's make it 1. Okay, so you can see it will all merge inside each other. Okay, now coming on to histograms. So histograms, a histogram is a graph showing frequency distribution. It is a graph showing the number of observation within each interval. I think it is well understood that for a particular interval we are showing the number of observations. Okay, so in order to use a histogram, we have to use a function called hist to create histograms. Okay, so the hist function will use an array of numbers to create a histogram, and the array is sent to the function as an argument. So we have to send a function as an argument to the hist function. Okay, so by default we have to first generate a numpy. We have to generate an array with 150 values. I hope you have all studied how to do it. So we have to generate an array with 150 values where the values will concentrate around 70 and the standard deviation is 7 is 5. Okay, so what we have, so how we will do that, I have to write import numpy and np dot random dot, we are generating random numbers here. Okay, random numbers concentrated around 70 and having standard deviation as 5, and we want 150 numbers. Okay, so first let's not, let's comment this part and let's run the code. So we can see that these are all the numbers which is concentrated around 70. So these are total 150 numbers. So now we are making an interval like from 65 to 50, from 65 to 70, how many observations are there, and by that we are trying to make a histogram. Okay, so I'll run it. I'll not do anything here. Okay, and I'll do it like this. Okay, so you can see that we are getting an histogram here. Okay, we can change the color. We can write c is equals to, let's say, green. Okay, so okay, we have to write color here, not c. Yeah, so we have to write color is equals to g. We can write c in the plot, inside plot and grid, not inside hist. Okay, we have to specifically mention color here, and I think we can change the width of histogram as well, if I'm not wrong. Let's quickly check it whether we can do it or not. Okay, so it is not showing any errors. Yeah, so it will change, histogram will change its, it can change its width. Okay, depending on depending on the values. Each time whenever I'll run this particular code, it will show different values because we are using a random function here. Okay, so I think it is very easy. Histogram is very easy and it's of no use, I guess, but I think you guys must learn it for the betterment of this particular understanding of matplot. Okay, now coming on to the matplotlib pie charts. So by using pyplot, we can make, or we can generate pie charts as well. So what we have to do is we have to use a pie function. Okay, so same, I'm importing matplotlib.pyplot splt and numpy is np. I'm passing the array data, and I'm using a function that is pi here. I have to write pi, and I'm passing the array here that is stored in y, and I'm gonna show it. Yeah, so you can see that there are 4 sections, and each section is, this is, I think this is 100, total is 100. So each section is like 35 by 100 part is this, 25 by 100 or 1/4 is this, 1/4 is this, and 15 by 100 is this particular part. I think you guys know how to calculate it. So it is mentioned here that the size of each wedge is determined by comparing the value with all the other values by using this formula, the value divided by the sum of all the values. So x divided by sum of x. So if we are trying to calculate for 35, 35 by 100 will give the overall area or overall part or portion in this particular pie chart. Okay, so the one thing that we should keep in mind is it will start from 0 degree or from here, this particular thing, and it will go counterclockwise. Okay, so the first value is 35 by 100. So 35 by 100 portion is occupied from this particular horizontal line, or we can say that from 0 degree to a 35 upon 100 part of it. Okay, this is, and after that this is 1/4, and then 15 by 100 part. I guess it makes sense, and I hope just go through it once. You can just go backwards if you not understand it. I hope you guys understood it. Okay, so now we can do, what we can do is we can add labels to it, to this particular pie function. Okay, how we can do it, we just have to pass, similar to my labels or similar to what we are doing previously, we can just pass each labels, and you have to make sure that the size of array and size of the labels you are passing must match. So let's quickly run this particular section. So we can see that Audi is again it is 100, so 4 by 10 portion is occupied by Audi, so it is labeled here Audi, and again BMW, then Mercedes, then Ferrari. I guess it is self-explanatory. I no, need not to explain it further. Yeah, so the thing that I was explaining is default start angle is at x-axis, okay? But you can change the start angle by specifying the start angle parameter, okay? So you can change it. If you want to start it from 90 degree here to here, you can just specify it. But by default, the angle is 0, the start angle, okay? Similar code, same things. What I'm doing is I'm changing the start angle to 90 degree, and let's see. So it is now starting from this particular line, okay, this 90 degree, and then we come Audi counterclockwise, BMW, Mercedes, and Ferrari. Okay, you can see the difference here. Okay, 90 degree shift is there. Okay, 90 degree counterclockwise shift is there. Okay, now let's look into explode. So maybe you want one of the wedges to stand out. The explode parameters allow you to do that. The explode parameter is specified, and not none must be an array with one value for each wedge. Okay, so if we want to explode the Mercedes portion from the chart, we have to specify first of all the parameter explode parameters, and it has to be same as that of the parameters that are provided by our labels, okay, or the number of size of the array. So it must be same. So what I'm doing is I want this particular parameter, that is Mercedes, to stand out. So what I'm doing is I'll provide a non-zero value here, non-zero and a positive value here. Okay, so let's quickly look how this particular thing is looking. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my label. I've created an array. It is all the things are similar. Okay, an array that contains 35, 25, 25, and 15, and I'm labeling it to Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Ferrari respectively, and I'm providing a providing a parameter 0.2 to this particular Mercedes because this particular thing I want to stand out. Okay, and rest is 0. So what I'm doing here is same thing, plt.py. I'm passing the parameter y parameter here. I'm passing the labels, and I'm passing explode, and explode is taking values, these values. Explode is taking these values. Okay, let's quickly run this particular thing. So we can see that this particular Mercedes portion is stand out. Okay, so we can change it. I can write zero point 0.1, so you can see that the distance here becomes less. I can write 0.5. Okay, so a large gap between the two. Okay, similarly I can do it for individual labels, individual parameters. Okay, so you can see like this. Okay, so let's go back and let's change these to the original values. Okay, now the next concept that comes is shadow. Okay, so adding a shadow to a pie chart by we can add a shadow to a pie chart by setting the shadow parameters to true. Okay, so this particular parameter will provide the shadows to our pie just so that it look nice. So what I have to do, I'll copy this particular thing, I'll paste it here as a parameter. Okay, and I'm passing this particular shadow to true. Okay, by default it is false, you know that. Okay, so this is it. This is all about shadows. Now talking about legends, what legend do is adding title to the legend is very important, and what legend is, you can learn it in a nice way if I run this particular code. These are the list, or I can say legend will provide you the list of the colors with respect to the individual labels, and you can also name or provide the title of this particular table. Okay, All you have to do is plt.legend will provide you a table that specify individual colors to their respective labels. Okay, and after that you can provide the title using by passing the parameter title is equals to cars, and it will show cars here, and you just have to show it. That's it. This is how easy this particular thing is. Okay, so in order to add the title, we have to pass a title parameter here. Okay, I hope this particular thing is clear to you, the legend thing and all that. It is very easy. I just want to request you guys to go through it once. Like a quick glance can really build your concepts or boost your confidence in this particular library. Okay, so I guess this is it from my side. I've covered all the basics in this particular lecture. Okay, and I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and for any doubts or any clarifications, you can put it in the comment section below, or you can just WhatsApp me, or you can put it in the group, whatever query you are facing, whatever doubt you have, and we can discuss it in our discussion session. And that's it from my side. This is Ayush Porwal signing off. Thank you.